The Source.
All right, 25 minutes before 10 o'clock. Thank you for tuning in. Dr. Nicole Kelly is on the phone. Dr. Kelly is a medical doctor, has first-hand experience dealing with the manipulations of a sociopath who stole a vast sum of money from her medical practice. And she's written a book that makes me want to move to Nashville. The book is called 69 Shades of Nashville, Sociopath Sex, Southern Style, inspired by a true story. Let's find out about this from Dr. Nicole Kelly. Good morning, doctor. How are you?
I'm great. Thanks for having me.
Are you in Nashville right now?
I am.
I'm thinking about moving to Nashville.
It's a great city. It really is. Crazy stuff going on, that's for sure.
When you read the description of the book, well, it depends on which description you read, but the one that was sent to us by the publicist, and then you read the book, it's like two totally different things.
Well, I definitely wanted to expose the mind of a sexopath, psychopathic sex addict.
All right, now in the news
we kind of how to understand what is going on in a woman who steals married men for the fun of it.
All right, now, but that's a complete turnaround from what we're hearing in the news. In the news, it's the men who are misbehaving.
Absolutely.
Yep. And I'm not saying they're not. I agree they are. Let me put a picture of the book cover on the podcast. By the way, here it is. So tell me, this happened to you. So who is the name in the book the real name of the woman we're talking about?
No, it's changed. I changed all of the names to usernames, and I changed the details so even her own mother wouldn't recognize her. But she's real. She's out there.
All right. So tell me, I mean, it starts out pretty bad with a 911 call. Tell us a little bit of a thumbnail sketch of the story.
Well, Nashville Kitty is a happily married woman who has an appetite for married men. So she starts out and has an affair with a neighborhood dad, and then finds out about a cheater's website, which in the book is called Aubrey Madeline, but in real life was Ashley Madison.
Ashley Madison, yeah. Is that still around? I remember that in the news. Not that I'm interested. I'm not.
Not that you know about it.
Just curious if it's still. Well, didn't they expose the names of guys that were using that?
They did. But they even guys paid $20 to have their names hidden, and then it was exposed anyway. They got cheated twice.
Oh my gosh! All right, so tell me. So how did? Oh gosh, I wanted the audience to know the book because that's the only fair way to talk about the book. I want to make sure it's fair to you in promoting the book.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, I also want to mention that for today, all the Larry and Robin listeners out there, that the entire novel is free for today on my website, 69shadesofnashville.com.
69shadesofnashville.com. Okay, how come you're doing that?
Yep.
Why are you doing free?
Well, because my goal is to make sure as many people out there know about the sociopathic sex addict.
All right. And now, can I ask you to define?
I've got a mission.
And forgive me for not knowing this, and maybe I should have looked it up. What is the definition of a sociopath?
Well, technically, in the DSM-5, that's the Bible for psychiatric diagnoses, it's called antisocial personality disorder. And people always get that confused because they think antisocial means asocial, which is the person who doesn't like to come out of their house, who's a hermit, who doesn't like to interact with people.
Uh-huh.
But antisocial is actually a manipulative liar who has no empathy. They basically can't connect with another person on a soul level because parts of their brain just don't function like the rest of ours.
And it manifests itself in different ways. In this particular case, it manifests itself in a sexual way.
Exactly. Because sociopaths are prone to addictions of all sorts, and sex is definitely one of those addictions.
But then in your bio, we read that there was a sociopath who stole a lot of money from your practice.
Yep, that's her. Yep.
That's
Yeah.
her. That's Miss Kitty.
That's Nashville
Yes.
Kitty. Yep.
All right. So by explaining it in the medical way you just did, it almost sounds like you're forgiving her because it's not her fault. It's the condition, right?
Well, I mean, I'm not asking for a witch hunt. These people, I mean, as many as 1 in 25 people are on the sociopathic spectrum. And most of us don't even recognize them. We all think that everybody thinks just like we think, but they don't. And these people manipulate and control us for fun, for sport. They see life as a video game that they're manipulating all the rest of us as pawns in
Do
their
they-
board game.
Yeah.
Do they have a club? I mean, do they meet for drinks or something and then tell about their conquests? Do they need that
Lots
kind of
times they
attention?
recognize each other.
Pardon?
Yeah, lots of times they can recognize each other, but I mean, it's kind of they can work together for a common goal, but kind of like among thieves, when it doesn't suit them anymore, they betray each other. Their main purpose is to serve themselves.
Okay. So tell us, did she? Are you married?
Nope, I'm engaged.
Okay.
Congratulations.
But did she?
Thank you.
Did she hit on your guy at all?
No, he is more recent than she was.
Oh, okay. Well, and did you? Okay. How do I ask this? Was she actually somebody you liked at one time?
Well, I mean, she charmed me. I thought she was my friend. I mean, she told me all these crazy stories, and I mean, I really probably should have distanced myself from her, but she was exciting.
Okay.
She made my boring life seem interesting.
Okay, so
Just hearing her stories.
the men who she was successful in seducing, was she seducing them for some gain of her own, or was the sex act itself what she was going after?
She's pretty into sex. Yeah.
Okay.
And I mean manipulation. She
So it
likes
wasn't-
to control people and see if she can get them to do what she wants.
Okay, and you observed this. Did she try to do? It sounds like she tried to do it with you too.
Well, she goes both ways.
How long? Oh, really? Now, how long? So how long ago was this?
It was 2 years ago.
2 years ago. And it sounds like you're still smarting from it. It sounds like you were burned pretty bad, and it still hurts.
Yeah, I mean, definitely. I mean, I just kind of, I'm supposed to be a physician and smart and know better than this. I mean, how could I have been so gullible
Right.
as to trust this woman who was stealing money and just lying to me?
Wow. How did she steal money from you?
Well, I can't go into it exactly, but she was doing it through patient billing.
Oh, okay.
And that makes sense too, because if there's not a third person involved in it, a person that does the billing and that receives the checks, it can hide that stuff.
Right, exactly.
So what do you have this information? What did she do when a man she was trying to seduce turned her down? Didn't want to have anything to do with her?
Well, then she'd probably just consider them unworthy.
Oh, okay. So, but there might have.
I mean, on the Ashley Madison, I mean, she got 350 responses in the first 48 hours.
How do you know that? Did she tell you that?
Yeah, she told me that.
So you must have still been friends at that time.
Yep.
Wow. And what did you think about that at that time? I mean, it sounds like you guys were still talking, at least at that time. What did you? To me, if somebody told me they were doing that, a man or a woman, I don't know. I would think that you're not. I mean, I feel bad for them at first. That you're not going to be happy, and then of course they would deny that. Did you have a conversation like that with her?
Yeah, absolutely. I kept asking her, because she keeps talking about how happy she is with her husband. And if she's so happy with her husband, why does she keep looking elsewhere? So, but she would tell me she's always had a list of men. She knew her husband since middle school, and he knew about all the men then. But she's keeping it secret now.
So the word love really isn't in her vocabulary or someone like her's vocabulary.
Exactly. I mean, the Eskimos have 32 words for love, so I'm not saying there aren't some types of love they could potentially experience. But the kind of love that the rest of us feel, a connection to another person, I mean, a true soul connection, they're incapable of it. They just can't do it. They don't have the mirror neurons to feel that empathy and connect with another person in that way.
And there are some women out there. I know I had a friend like decades ago, and I believed everything she said, and then all of a sudden she turned her world upside down, and then I fell for her, oh, feel sorry for me. And then, I did, and then she did it again the second time, and then I stopped feeling sorry for her. But then all of a sudden she came back into my life the third time, and then it's like and then after the third time I was burned, it's like, okay, this friendship isn't happening. But she had no problem. It wasn't about sex or anything. It was just about making you feel sorry for her because, she had kids. Right. She, wasn't in a job that she was happy with and things. And then you buy into it. And then you feel so stupid when you find out that they're using you.
Right. Absolutely. Actually, that is a big sociopathic trick, which is to use pity. They'd love to make the rest of us feel sorry for them, and then that way they can manipulate you again. And part of the key in recognizing them is that most of them are narcissistic. They think they are, what it is. And, they'll go from acting all pitiful, and then in the next breath, they're talking about how great they are.
Yeah, exactly.
If this had been a man doing these things, I wonder if we, the onlooker, would think differently of him. Would we hate him more? I mean, are we more forgiving of women who do this than men who do this?
I don't know. Nashville Kitty is the ultimate anti-hero that everybody's going to love to hate. I know I do.
Oh my God.
Did faith play a role in the story?
Religious.
Does what?
Religious faith, I'm sorry.
Yeah, religious.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Yeah, because I definitely wanted to include that in the book because my connection to God is very important to me, but that is not the case for Nashville Kitty. In fact, she believes that she is a god.
Yeah, I remember reading that part in there, and to tell you the truth, I'm kind of glad that wasn't your opinion. I wasn't sure. I had a hard time separating because I didn't read the whole book cover to cover, just to be honest. So maybe if I did, this would be more clear. But I wasn't sure if the opinions expressed in the book were yours or not. So it sounds
absolutely
like
not.
They're not.
Absolutely not. They are Nashville Kitty. I wanted to give the public the chance to enter the mind of a sociopathic sex addict. And if we understand how they think, then we can beat them at their own game.
Why is it Southern style? Wouldn't the same kind of behavior happen in New York?
Oh, absolutely. This happened here, so.
Oh, okay, got it.
Southern style.
All right, so do the stories in the book all stem from real things she told you she was doing?
It's been fictionalized. Not all of it happened, but a lot of it's real. In fact, the stranger it is, that's probably real.
Is she still doing what this book shows she's doing?
I would suspect so. I have no contact with her, so.
And do the men, are they one-timers? Are they burned at all, or do they just? Men are kind of like animals in a way.
Thank goodness for that.
to make people fall head over heels in love with her.
But
they become completely infatuated with her. There's one episode in the book where, they start stalking her, where the wife shows up at the doorstep. The real story is actually even funnier because she had another man inside as the woman of a previous lover was at her doorstep.
Wow.
Oh, my gosh.
Oh, my gosh. Do you know, a lot of guys will tell you this, and you've probably heard it too, that no women really paid attention to them, and then they fell in love and got married, and as soon as they put that ring on, there were women actually interested in them, and said, "Well," I told a couple of guys this. I said, "Well, you should have put the ring on before you were married. Maybe you would." So I'm wondering if the women that do that and who see the ring and say, "Oh, hello there," is it like a safe target because you don't have to worry about falling in love and having a family together and all that? Do you understand it at all? Is there
Nashville Kitty's take on it? She liked her home life. Her hubby takes care of her, does all her laundry, fixes all her meals. She has it all set up. So she definitely did not want her home life changed. So her most important criterion was that the other men had to be married and have a happy home because she didn't want them messing up her home life.
And was she kind to her husband as far as being sexual with him too? Did she have time for him?
Oh, absolutely. She definitely serviced his needs.
Mm-hmm. Can you tell now, since you've had this experience and you've been burned by this person, can you tell by looking at another woman that they have these traits?
Well, I mean, as Larry was saying, men are much more likely to be sexopaths than women, 7 times more likely to be a man than a woman. But and it's difficult to tell who they are because they lie as easy as they breathe. And they can even beat a polygraph machine. Well, they don't get the telltale signs because they just don't care. They don't have empathy, remorse, or guilt.
What about pregnancies? I mean, all these men, did she ever get pregnant from them?
No.
Never, huh?
No. Be very careful with condoms.
Mm-hmm. And I have, in your own personal life now, how do you trust your employees? I mean, without looking at them in a different way. Do you trust your employees? Well,
I'm definitely paying a lot more attention to exactly what's going on and not trusting blindly as I did before. I mean, I like to see patients. That's what I like to do. Well, and the money stuff has never been interesting or fun for me, but it's part of it, and I definitely made an error in judgment. I mean, even being her friend, much less giving her control over my money.
Is Nicole Kelly your real name?
It is not. My patients and their families would be kind of squeamish about the topic of this book. So.
Yeah. Okay. I think I'm getting. I looked at your picture on Amazon, and that you've got a mask on. So, okay. So you. Why did you write the book then? Is it to be? Were you so angry at this woman that you just wanted to paint a picture of her so that the rest of us can see her for who she is?
Well, it actually started just as therapy. I mean, I was trying to sort through all of my feelings of being betrayed. How could I have been so gullible? And as I kept writing it and thinking about her stories, I mean, that's when I realized she's a sociopathic sex addict. Then I started researching more about sociopathy, because, I mean, we learned about it in medical school, antisocial personality disorder, but the focus when we learned about it was about the psychopath, the person with tattoos on their fingers who murders little animals and commits arson and often ends up in jail.
Right.
But we really didn't focus on the intelligent sociopath who, often running our country, our churches,
So here's what I have. I have a question for you. A sociopath whose sociopathic whatever manifests itself as a sex addict or a sex whatever, pursuer, sex hunter or something, male or female. They're not going to go to jail for that. However, you said she stole money from you. Couldn't she go to jail for that?
Well, I started legal proceedings. That's actually how the book got started, is I was $20,000 in, and the lawyer told me that it's going to be 6 figures to see the end of this, and that cases like this, I mean, they've spent all the money. They declare bankruptcy at the end, even though I win the case, and then the bank gets their money first.
So she was stealing from patients, you said.
Stealing from billing.
I'm sorry?
From my patient billing.
Okay, maybe I don't understand that. But, I mean, shouldn't each one of those patients have a case against her also?
No. She wasn't stealing from them. She was stealing from me.
Oh, okay. So let's say you charge the patient $100 for a procedure, whatever. Maybe that's too low. $1,000. She would take it from you? I mean, is that what you mean?
Yeah, she was diverting funds into her own bank account.
Oh my gosh! And your lawyer feels like you don't have much of a case?
Oh no, he thinks I have an extremely strong case.
Oh, okay.
But at the end of the case, you win, but you get nothing. And then it's 6 figures for all the legal fees. I'd already spent $20,000 with nothing to show for it.
Okay.
Like, you know what? I'd rather write a book about it.
Would she, in your mind, would she be proud of the sexcapades that you're exposing, or would she be ashamed?
I think part of her would be proud, and I think part of her will not. But
because I think men are different in this way. If we exposed a man, and I'm not saying the guys who are messing like this gymnast coach. I'm not talking about these guys.
Yeah.
But I'm just saying a guy who
he's one too. I mean, he definitely fits the bill. not to diagnose him from afar.
Yeah.
And he definitely hits the checklist on sexopathy, that's for sure.
Okay, but I'm talking about the playboy who seduces women, and there's no drugs involved, and there's no rape involved. It's just a guy being charming, and he succeeds in getting a woman to bed, and then next week he's got another one, and next week he's got another one. Those guys are proud of that.
Right. And they may be sexopathic. And it really depends on, do they feel empathy or remorse?
And you use the word the word karma. You say that karma is not real.
Well, Nashville Kitty said that.
That's what she said. That confused me.
Yeah, that's exactly what I'm talking about. That kind of thing. I was thinking, well, I don't know. I mean, karma might be real. I'm not sure. But okay, so now I get it. So everything in the book is really her opinion.
Absolutely.
That's
the anti-hero.
You're a good doctor. I can tell. I can tell. I have a doctor just like you. And she's a lady also. Right?
Yes.
You know who I'm talking about. Robin knows who I'm talking about.
She's great. Was there any form of violence?
No. I mean, she, I'm actually a little worried that she may take a hit out on me. But I don't think she personally would do violence. I think she thinks about it, but no actual violence on her part.
Have you had any feedback from the book? Have you had readers contact you?
Yeah, so far it's been great. Everybody loves how well written it is and entertaining, and I added over 300 drawings in it.
Yeah. It is entertaining. There's no question about it.
Love the drawings. Well, now she's going to have a rough life because when she starts getting a little older, she's not going to be able to use her femininity or her looks because they're going to be diminishing. And then what is she going to do then?
Yeah. She smokes like a chimney and is already starting to get wrinkles. So.
Well, I'm going to make a prediction. I am not a doctor, nor am I a psychic, but I have a prediction. Are you ready? That money that she stole from you, you're gonna make 100-fold with the movie rights.
Exactly.
Thank you. That's the goal.
I think so. I think there's some movie maker who's gonna say, "Oh, we got to make a movie called Nashville Kitty or Shades of Nashville or something."
That's right.
All right.
That's why it's free. I want people to read it and people to talk about it. And I mean, sociopaths are controlling us. We're letting them manipulate us, and we're not even aware of it. We need to wake up and take the power back.
You're right.
Exactly.
How many of us are thinking of somebody right now? I have a couple of people in mind that you're bringing to mind that I maybe never thought of them that way until just now. All right. I have a copy of the book. I have to tell you as an audience that if you are offended by point-blank, blunt sexual writing, then you don't want this book. However, if you're okay with that, then you might want this. Call me if you want the copy. She's got it for free online, too.
Yes.
What are you, just sending free copies out or PDFs? What are you doing?
It's online. You can read it online.
Read it online. Okay. All right, so call me if you want the one that was sent to me. I found it on Amazon. Do you have a website you want us to go to?
www.69shadesofnashville.com.
Is that the numbers or
The number,
spelled out?
69.
Numbers.
Okay,
Yep.
all right. This is exactly not what I thought we were going to be talking about, but I just love this conversation, and I think you're dead on. And I think some of these people you're describing make it into political office.
I think so, too.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. In my next book, Sexopathy, the Sociopathic Sex Addict, I'm going to have a president chapter talking about the
And guess what? The movie, people will make a movie out of that one, too. Yeah. All right, I'll give the book away during the break. We have to wrap it up, go to the news. Thank you for being on the air with us. I know that's not your name, but I'll call you Dr. Kelly. Thank you, Doctor.
All right, thank you.
All right, we'll be right back.
Yo, I'm Chris Foster. Before leaving for the World Economic Forum in Switzerland, President Trump spoke about immigration and the young immigrants known as dreamers.
President Trump told reporters at the White House he's open to a path to citizenship for illegal immigrants brought here as children.
Over a period of 10 to 12 years, somebody does a great job. They work worked hard. It gives incentive to do a great job.
The president says he still wants $25 billion for a border wall, which he says he would build under budget.
Fox's Rachel Sutherland in Washington. The man accused of pulling the trigger is in custody. Now there's a search for 2 other men involved in a deputy's fatal shooting in Colorado.
We're still searching for potentially armed and dangerous suspects.
Adams County Deputy Heath Gum was responding to reports of an assault and followed a man behind a home.
The male pulled out a handgun and started to shoot at our deputies, striking one of the deputies in the chest.